Hey everyone, Jo here of SportsGrid. It's time for a Pocket with Jo. Happy Friday, you guys. The Lightning last night not able to clinch a win at home. They're now down to the Florida Panthers 3-0, and I did not see that coming with Sam Bennett out of the lineup for the Florida Panthers. I tell you, the Panthers are getting better and better every single game out there on the ice, and they are going to be deadly if they make it past the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, I do think they're going to make it past them now. I really did think this series was going to go deep, and it's going to need a miracle to make it all the way to 7. We're going to see the Tampa Bay Lightning really needing to get the win in their next game, not to get swept out there. And if they get swept, it will be on their home ice. So be interesting to see. I'd love to see the Florida Panthers move on their home ice instead of on the Lightning's home ice. So we'll see what happens with that series. The New York Islanders also went down yesterday. They weren't able to get a set goal in the first period. That was a shocker for me. Happy Friday, Jimmy. Yeah, the New York Rangers in action today, and happy Friday to you, Matt. Let's make some money. So looking at last night, it was a killer night for me. I really did expect a better performance out of both of the home teams in their first home performance. Like I said, the Islanders not able to get that goal in the first period. That was a major bummer out there. But let's look at today's matchups. Let's have a big bounce back day. We've got 4 games out there on the ice. So the first game we're going to kick it off is the New York Rangers taking on the Washington Capitals. Now this series is a 2-1 lead here for the New York Rangers. The Washington Capitals at home tonight are coming in at plus 146, with the Rangers at minus 176 and a total of 5.5 to that under at minus 115. Igor Shesterkin versus Charlie Lindgren is really the storyline here for me. Charlie Lindgren, while he had solid numbers overall in the season and was so solid down the stretch, when we look at his numbers at home, they have been better than they have been out on the road. So I do give the Washington Capitals a chance here with the plus money we're getting on the Caps. I think it's worth a look at plus 146. In the regular season at home, Charlie Lindgren went 14-7-4. He had a 2.52 goals against average. And on the road, he went 11-9-3 with a 2.82. So not a huge difference there, but there is still a difference between his home and road record in the regular season. And the weight of the Washington Capitals in this game is huge. So I do think this is Igor versus Charlie Lindgren. I give the edge to Charlie Lindgren at home, but we look at the Rangers. They won game 1, 4-1. They won game 2, 4-3. Now, for the Washington Capitals to be able to get the win tonight, it is completely imperative here, and imperative for the Capitals to stay out of the frickin' box. They allowed 2 goals on the power play. Their kill just isn't strong enough versus the New York Rangers. The Rangers have an elite power play. So if they want a chance of keeping this tight, they have to stay out of that box. So I do think it's worth a look here at the Washington Capitals with the plus money, but I won't be shocked if the Rangers come out and dominate again. They've dominated in these first 2 games. I do think Ovechkin gets back on track, though. You look at Ovechkin and the limited impact he's had so far in this series. He had 7 shot attempts in the first game versus New York Rangers, and 5 of those were block shots and 2 were missed. So he recorded no shots on goal in that game. In the second game, he got only 1 shot on goal, and 2 shots were blocked and 1 was missed. So you got to feel for Ovi out there. This is not normal for him, especially in the playoffs. I do think looking at Ovechkin on his home ice with how the lineups work at home, I do think his 4+ shots on goal has a little bit of interest for me at plus 148. Now, I would prefer to take him for that anytime goal, because I do think if he's able to generate that many shots, 3 or more shots for Ovi on Igor Shesterkin, one of those is going in. And then I don't have to worry about 4+ because that number is so high. So I'm going to look at Ovechkin here for the anytime goal at plus 170. He has to. And I know I rode Ovi in the last game and the game before, but I'm not jumping off him here, because if I jump off him here, Ovechkin is definitely going to get this goal tonight. And then I will be sitting here twiddling my thumbs going, I knew he would come awake in this series. So he's got to come out strong. And then the Capitals have the opportunity of being able to get the win. Kev, I'm glad you are here. Yeah, and he did. They gave up a shorthanded goal as well. So not good to see the Washington Capitals playing the way they are. They really need this home ice. And I do think, you guys, it's not going to come down to the Washington Capitals offense. Like, this is a team that does struggle to score. This is going to come down to Charlie Lindgren. Now, goalie props in this one. Let's see if we've got them out because they were not out before. And we do. Charlie Lindgren over 26.5 save shots. Sign me up all day long. The Washington Capitals aren't doing enough of a job at giving him protection, and we know the New York Rangers are going to bring it. So Charlie Lindgren over 26.5 save shots at -130. That's actually my favorite bet of this game. For Charlie Lindgren to stand on his head is imperative in this one. Now, if you take Charlie Lindgren for an alt number here, 30 plus save shots for Charlie Lindgren's coming in at +172. I do think that is in the cards today. The Rangers are going to be coming at them fierce in this one. If you want to take him up to just the 29, the 29 plus save shots is +132. The 30 plus save shots is +172. And the 31 plus save shots is +220. Now, I could see this being a game where the New York Rangers put 35, 36 shots on Charlie Lindgren in this one. So I would look at it, especially if by chance the Washington Capitals go up. You know that the New York Rangers in that third period are going to be firing with will, trying to get the puck in the back of the net. So it is my favorite bet. I wouldn't ult it any higher than 31 plus. Or I'd do 32 plus. 32 plus save shots on goal at +270. If you want to get really greedy there and go 35 plus shots on goal, that's +490. It's not out of the realm here. We know the New York Rangers will bring it tonight with those shots on him. And I do have faith in Charlie Lindgren. So that's actually my favorite bet of this game, is looking at Charlie Lindgren save shots. If you want to look at Igor Shesterkin here, his base number is 23.5. The over 23.5 at -125. Now, will the New York Rangers allow the Washington Capitals to get that many shots? I don't know, you guys. This Rangers team is blocking those shots heavily out there. 23.5 might be hard for the Capitals to come by. So I would just play Charlie Lindgren. Okay. Let's move on, Larry. Happy Friday to you too. Let's move on to the next game. Let me know how the weather is where you guys are. It is absolutely freezing here in YYC today. I've got my heat on, my fireplace even going, and I feel like my house is just like, that damp cold. It feels so cold today. The Vancouver Canucks and the Nashville Predators are in action tonight at 7:30 Eastern. Now, current lines on this one. Let me just pull it up here. Odds are on FanDuel. Sorry, I was going to sneeze there. The Predators at -115, -104 for the Canucks. Total of 5.5, -120 to the over. I have to lean on the Predators. This series is coming back to Nashville, tied 1-1 apiece. We saw Vancouver win that first game with Demko in goal, and then they had to go to Casey DeSmith for game number 2 as Demko is out with an undisclosed injury. I do expect the Predators to be able to hit Casey DeSmith again in this game, especially on their home ice. They have a team total of 2.5. It's too juicy at -156. I won't be shocked if they get 4 goals. So if you can ult that over 3.5 goals, I do think that is in play. But I'm just going to play the money line here on the Nashville Predators at -115. I like the momentum that they were able to build winning in Vancouver, now bringing this back home. We know they can hit Casey DeSmith. Could this be a 5-4 style game? Absolutely, and that's why I would ult their team total to that over as well. This team has been able to get the puck in the back of the net. Now, Elias Pettersson has been very quiet for the Vancouver Canucks. Zadorov, though, has been playing strong. So if you're looking at Vancouver here, I don't know. I want to put a play on them. I can see them still scoring on Saros tonight. You look at their shot attempts, and they are coming in. The Canucks had 84 shot attempts. 18 were on net, and 31 were blocked in that last game. So with the Nashville Predators coming out and blocking all of these shots, you've got to think it's going to be hard for them to score on Saros. But if they don't have the block shot production that they did in the last game, we could see more out of Vancouver here. I'm just not buying into it. I think the Nashville Predators will continue to play the game that they played in that last game, getting those block shots on goal, stepping in front of the puck. I would look at Philip Forsberg for the anytime goal and Ryan O'Reilly. I'm going to look at both of them for their points as well. I think both will come out nice and solid in this. Now, let's see if there's any goalie props in this one. The last game, Casey DeSmith stopped 12 of 15 shots on his net in that 4-2 loss. So Vancouver the Predators not getting a lot of shots either. Let me see the goalie props. We're looking at Saros for a number of 25.5, and Casey DeSmith has a number of 25.5 as well. It's going to be a hard one, you guys. I'm not going to look at those because, if anything, I think Saros probably goes under his number because the Predators defensively are stepping in front of the puck, not allowing those shots to get on him. But I just don't want to fade. It feels like a fade of the goaltender there, but I just don't think he'll get that many shots. So I'm going to stay off that one, but I do think the Predators walk away with the win. Okay, next game on deck with the Winnipeg Jets taking on the Colorado Avalanche. Now, this is game 3 of the series, and this series is tied 1-1 apiece. Higher scoring battles out there on the ice than I expected. I expected the Winnipeg Jets to be able to lock down on the defensive side of things. Now, we know the last time they were in Colorado was in the regular season. They walked away with a 7-0 win coming out of that game. They're coming in here as the dog on the money line. Now, they are plus 130. We've lost a bit of value. They were plus 140 earlier in the day. We've got minus 160 here for the Colorado Avalanche. Total 6.5. 6.5 juice to the under at minus 112, to the over at minus 108. If you like the Avs for a big win on their home ice, laying 1.5 goals is plus 158. And I'm kind of tempted with that, not going to lie, because I do think Colorado on their home ice is an absolutely dangerous team, even though we saw Winnipeg be able to get the win last time in the regular season. I just think with the force Colorado has been coming out with, we see them getting 1 million attempts here on Connor Hellebuyck. Because I think there's going to be a ton of attempts on Connor Hellebuyck, I am going to look at his save shots on goal prop. This number is just too low for me, 29.5 to the over at minus 130. I do think he faces enough shots. Even if Winnipeg is to win this, he nicely goes over this one. Or even if Colorado wins this, he nicely goes over. The Avs had 32 shots in game 2, and the first and second period is where the majority of these shots came. The Winnipeg Jets were able to lock down in that third period and really limit the Avs, but in the first and second period, the Avs put up 14 and I believe it was 15 shots in those first and second before the lockdown. Now in game 1, we did see 46 shots on net out of the Colorado Avalanche, and I expect on their home ice for, that 46 shots again in this one, with them being able to control this game. So I do like Connor Hellebuyck over the 29.5, even though I think the Avs take this win on their home ice. Now they're too juicy to bet straight up on the money line, so I would look at some player props in this one. The first game home for the playoffs for them, this is going to be the Avs just coming out so strong. I probably look at them to win that first period on the puck line, laying the half goal on the puck line in the first period. I'm going to take Nathan McKinnon for the anytime goal. His anytime goal coming in at minus 120. You could look at Cale Makar for the 2+ points. You're getting so much value there at plus 158. And Mikko Rantanen of the Avs as well. 2+ points in this one at plus 154. Now, another thing I'm looking at is I think we get a fast goal in this. We know Georgiev hasn't been the strongest in net for the Colorado Avalanche, and he did step up in the last game. I was more impressed with him in the last game. He definitely had a bounce back from that first one, with the Jets only being able to score 2 goals on him. But still, I just don't have that faith in him. The Avs really have to limit the high danger chances that the Winnipeg Jets have on him, because if it comes down to those high danger shots, or if it comes down to a shootout, my money is going to be on Connor Hellebuyck to be able to make those saves. Now, in this one, that goal in the first 5 minutes, sorry, I'm watching the NFL draft stuff is all over my TV, so it catches my attention, you guys. The goal in the first 5 minutes of this game coming in at plus 160, I think is such a solid way to go. I expect a huge, quick, fast goal out of probably Nathan McKinnon getting out there on the ice. And I know it's on Connor Hellebuyck, and I know I'm writing his player props back. That doesn't mean that he is not going to still be hit by Colorado in this. Colorado could still win this 5-2, just like the last game in Winnipeg. and we could still see Connor Hellebuck go over the 29.5. So I think all of these bets go nicely together. Winnipeg has the goal scorers with Kyle Connor, Tyler Toffoli, Mark Scheifele. They have the ability to get on the scoreboard. They need to start locking down and playing their style of game. I don't think they get that done in Colorado, especially in this first game here in Colorado of the playoffs. You're going to ride Jets on the money line to bounce back off that last one. Vancouver 4-3. Yeah, I do think the Vancouver game is pretty tight there. I wouldn't take anyone on the puck line unless it's Vancouver, but you're not getting the value. So the last game of the night, we have the Edmonton Oilers taking on the LA Kings. The Oilers rolling in here as a favorite off the loss in overtime. Kempe was, what's his name? Kevin. Oh, I'm drawing a blank on his name. It starts with an F. He was able to get the overtime goal. Now the Edmonton Oilers coming in at minus 142 plus 118 here for the LA Kings, total of 6.5. The 6.5 juice to the under at minus 122 plus 100 to the over. Skinner versus Cam Talbot. We saw game one. The Edmonton Oilers win 7-4. We saw game two, the LA Kings win in overtime 5-4. One thing that is constant here is the LA Kings are able to find the back of the net, and we're also seeing Edmonton being able to score as well. One of these goaltenders has to get hot. One of these defenses has to get hot. Which defense and goaltender do I trust the most? Well, it's the LA Kings with Cam Talbot in net. This defense over the season was phenomenally strong, and Edmonton's defense was strong when they were able to go on that 16-game winning streak. But outside of that, I tell you, they needed some improvements out there on the ice. I am expecting the Kings to go over their team total of 2.5, but again, it's juiced at minus 156. You can alt that to the over 3.5 goals. I do think even if they lose this, they get 4 goals on Stuart Skinner, especially on their home ice tonight. I'm looking at the power play goals to come in. So this is something different. You're going to have to search it out on your books. Over on FanDuel, you can bet the power play goals tonight. Now, I'm betting over 1.5 power play goals. That's coming in at plus 150. These two teams are so scrappy out there. I expect those penalties to come between them on the ice tonight, and both of these teams be able to score at least once on the power play. It doesn't matter who scores on this power play. As long as we have 2 power play goals, this bet cashes at plus 150. And I think it has a nice opportunity to. Now, this is a bet you could play in the other games as well. If I was looking at the other games on the board today, I would probably look at the Nashville Predators and the Vancouver Canucks, or actually, maybe it's the New York Rangers and Washington Capitals. With these teams getting so scrappy out there, especially the Washington Capitals, if they're down in this game and it's late in the third, those penalties definitely are coming, and we know the Rangers will be able to capitalize on those. So the power play goals over 1.5 is something to also look at between the Rangers and the Capitals. I think it has every opportunity of hitting between the Preds and the Canucks as well. All of these series are getting super scrappy out there, so it might be something we play in each and every one of these games. To be honest, tonight, you guys, you got to love the plus money. I think it does hit in 3 of the 4 games out there on the ice tonight that we see those power play goals converting. So I'm going to look at my top bet for this game because the Kings team totals too juiced at over 2.5 at minus 156. Unless you want to alt it to over 3.5, I'm just going to look at over 1.5 power play goals at plus 150. I'm going to look at Kempe here for the anytime goal. That's coming in at plus 200. He's averaging 6 shots on goal per game. And as long as he's able to get these shots here at home on Skinner, I do think he finds the back of the net. Now, Zach Hyman's been phenomenal out there for the Edmonton Oilers. He had a hat trick in the last game, or in the first game, and then the last game he was able to score a goal. Now, Connor McDavid was only able to register 1 point in that last game, and that was so highly juiced. Can Connor McDavid come out like he did in the first game and be able to get those points on the board is my biggest question mark. Looking at his points tonight, you can't even take him for 1 point. That's at minus 590. And for the 2+ points, it's minus 122. It's asking so much of players to get 2+ points, and I just don't like the amount we have to lay at minus 122. If you look at Zach Hyman with those 3, he had the hat trick in game 1, and then he was able to get a goal in the last one. The value is coming on Zach Hyman For the 2+ points, that's at plus 300. I would rather take a chance on players with the plus money to be able to get those points on the board. If you look at Kempe here, Kempe I already think is going to get a goal. If he can get an assist tonight as well, that's coming in at plus 215 or 2 goals. And then Kopitar at plus 320 holds so much value as well. So I think there's a couple of players you can play around with the points we know so far. Yes, Matt, that's exactly who I was thinking of. Thank you. We know so far that this has been a high-scoring series, and I do think that probably continues. Both of these teams offensively have been able to hit these goaltenders nice and hard, so I would look at the over in this one. Which game tonight has the opportunity of going to overtime is my biggest question mark out here. Now, when we look at the New York Rangers and Washington Capitals, we did see some tight games in that second one. I would think the Washington Capitals here, if they're going to win it, it's not going to be easy. This one could push to OT. You're getting overtime in this matchup at like plus 350, I believe it is. The Vancouver Canucks and Nashville Predators, I think the Preds probably win that in regulation. I'm not looking for overtime. I could see the Winnipeg Jets and the Colorado Avalanche going to overtime, and the Oilers and the Kings going to overtime as well. So the only one I'm really not looking for overtime is the Predators. You watch, that will be the only game that goes to overtime tonight. But you guys, all the best in all of your bets. Has Georgiev found himself going into game 3 after a scoring fest in game 1? He might have. He actually might have. He did really good in game 2, but again, through the regular season, we didn't see him consistently playing solid out there. The Colorado Avalanche defensively need to give him more support. We've always seen this with Colorado and their goaltenders. You look at Darcy Kemper when he was with Colorado, his numbers were phenomenal because the defense was giving him so much more support. We look at Colorado, Cale Makar is able to get those block shots. If you can bet the block shot market, look at the block shot market. You know those block shots are coming tonight. They're going to do their best to try to give him protection. I just don't trust him when it comes down to overtime or a shootout. I really do think Connor Hellebuck has the upper hand in those situations, even though Georgiev is on his home ice. Larry, you have a fantastic weekend as well. Thank you so much for being here. You guys turn on those notifications. We will be going live this weekend, random times, who knows when. But before these games kick off, I am on Game Time Decisions tonight. So make sure you join me at 6:30 with Joe Ranieri. We're going to be going over the MLB slate, as well as just recapping these bets tonight. So make sure you join me there tomorrow on In-Game Live Primetime. Yes, In-Game Live Primetime. I'm live with Scott Wetzel from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Remember, you can tune into SportsGrid everywhere. So just go to www.sportsgrid.com/watch. It's on everything from your TV to Sirius Radio. So make sure you check it out, you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Yeah, and that's the hardest part, right? You just can't trust him when it comes to that clutch situation. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. Let's make some freaking money. If you haven't caught my MLB Cup of Joe, head on over and check that out. I will see you later on the grid. Bye, guys.